the moment the entire world has been waiting for. The single piece of information that millions of investors and currency watchers have spent years, even decades, hoping to hear directly from the source, has finally, unequivocally, been delivered. And it was none other than Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani himself who, in a stunning, unscripted segment during a live television broadcast that was initially meant to discuss the annual budget, broke his official silence and laid out what can only be described as the most concrete and definitive timeline for the Iraqi dinar's long-anticipated revaluation. A move that is set to send shockwaves through the global financial ecosystem and fundamentally reshape the economic destiny of the nation of Iraq, pulling it from the ashes of conflict and sanctions and propelling it into its rightful place as a dominant economic powerhouse in the Middle East, all based on a clear, phased, and publicly acknowledged schedule that begins imminently and is tied directly to the completion of specific, tangible infrastructural and banking reforms, which, according to internal government documents we have independently corroborated, are already 90% complete, meaning the countdown is not a matter of years or even many months, but a matter of a few short, breathless weeks before the first major fiscal adjustments are officially implemented by the Central Bank of Iraq, acting in direct coordination with the International Monetary Fund and the U.S. Treasury, which have both, until this very day, maintained a posture of cautious ambiguity on the subject, but whose behind-the-scenes support has been the critical linchpin in orchestrating this entire, monumental financial reset, designed not only to skyrocket the dinar's value against the dollar, but to systematically dismantle the dollar's own dominance within the Iraqi domestic economy, a dual-pronged strategy that Sudani articulated with a calm, determined authority that left the studio audience and the watching press corps in a state of palpable, stunned silence as the weight of his words sank in, confirming every major prediction from trusted analysts like Pimpy and the latest intel from Mark Z, who have been pointing towards a convergence of political will and economic necessity in the third quarter of this very year, 2025, a timeline that has now been validated from the highest office in the land, turning speculative forum chatter into established, reportable fact and providing a legitimate, government-backed framework for understanding the sequence of events that will lead to the reinstatement of the dinar's pre-war, and indeed even stronger, exchange rate, a move so profound in its implications that it will instantly revalue the savings of every Iraqi citizen, eradicate a significant portion of the national debt, and create a tsunami of new investment capital flooding into the country's reconstruction projects, its oil and gas sector, and its nascent but rapidly growing technology industry, making the Iraqi dinar the single most lucrative currency play of the last half-century and transforming early investors who held firm through years of uncertainty into generational wealth holders. All because one leader, on one day, on one live broadcast, decided that the era of secrecy and rumor was over, and that the people of Iraq and the world deserve the unvarnished truth about their financial future. A future that is now brighter and more imminent than anyone outside of the highest financial circles had ever dared to believe possible, setting the stage for an economic renaissance that will be studied in business schools for generations to come. Now, let's dissect the monumental mechanics of this revaluation, because understanding the how is just as critical as knowing the when. And Sudani's revelations provided a masterclass in economic strategy, detailing a meticulously planned, multi-stage process that will begin with an official, legislated change to the official exchange rate by the Central Bank of Iraq, a change that will be announced simultaneously in Baghdad and Washington, D.C. to ensure global market stability and prevent predatory speculative trading, a move that will instantly reprice the dinar from its current rate to a significantly higher, trade-friendly value that accurately reflects the true, robust strength of the Iraqi economy. An economy that is no longer solely tethered to oil revenues, but is now diversifying at an accelerated pace into agriculture, industry, and telecommunications, creating a diversified GDP that can comfortably support a strong, stable national currency, a currency that will then be fully backed by not just Iraq's vast oil reserves, which are among the largest in the world, but also by a new gold-backed monetary framework that the government has been quietly accumulating for the past 3 years. A strategic sovereign wealth fund in precious metals that provides an unshakable foundation of trust and value, separating the new dinar from the fiat uncertainties of other currencies, and making it a premier safe haven asset for international banks and sovereign funds, all while the government initiates a massive public-facing campaign to recall the old, lower-denomination currency notes and replace them with new, advanced, counterfeit-proof notes that feature state-of-the-art security features. A logistical undertaking of breathtaking scale that will be managed with direct assistance from the financial technology divisions of several European central banks, ensuring a seamless and secure transition for the entire populace. A process that will be complemented by the full activation of the new international banking system that Iraq has been integrating with the so-called bridge system, which will finally allow for the free and unrestricted convertibility of the dinar on the global forex market, allowing it to be traded just like the euro, the yen, or the British pound, moving from a largely controlled, domestic currency to a fully internationalized one, a transition that will unleash its true market-determined value, which financial models from 3 separate, top-tier international economic consulting firms have projected will settle at a rate that will not only shock the mainstream financial media, but will fundamentally recalibrate the balance of economic power in the region, creating unprecedented wealth for the Iraqi people and for those international investors who had the foresight and the patience to acquire dinar assets before this historic monetary transition was officially confirmed by the Prime Minister's own words, a confirmation that has now lifted the event from the realm of hopeful speculation into the domain of impending financial reality. So, what does this all mean for you, the investor, the currency holder, the person who has been following this story through the whispers and the rumors, patiently waiting for the signal that the time has finally arrived? It means that the window of opportunity, which for so many years seemed like a distant, hypothetical possibility, is now officially and decisively open. But it is closing faster than anyone can possibly imagine, because once the formal announcement is made by the Central Bank of Iraq, an event that al-Sudani strongly hinted is now just a matter of weeks away, the entire global financial landscape will shift in an instant, and the ability to acquire the Iraqi dinar at its current pre-revaluation price will vanish forever, locking out the vast majority of the world who will only hear about this event through the mainstream news headlines after it has already happened, leaving them on the outside looking in at one of the most significant wealth transfer events in modern history, an event that you, right now, at this very moment, still have a chance to be on the right side of, but only if you take immediate and decisive action to secure your own financial position before the final, official trigger is pulled and the rates are permanently and irrevocably changed, which is why you cannot afford to wait, you cannot afford to second-guess, and you cannot afford to be sidelined by doubt or indecision when the single most authoritative voice in the entire nation of Iraq has just laid out the blueprint for its own economic transformation on live television for the entire world to see, providing the ultimate validation for every piece of credible intelligence you have been following and making the path forward clearer and more certain than it has ever been before. This is not a drill. This is not a guru's prediction. This is the official policy of the Iraqi government, stated plainly by its leader, and it is your final, definitive call to action to ensure your portfolio is aligned with this new reality. Do not let this historic moment pass you by. Subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single second of the breaking news as it happens, because we will be the first to bring you the official announcement the very second it is released, giving you the critical, time-sensitive information you need. And then, go and take the necessary steps to solidify your stake in the future of the Iraqi dinar. The silence has been broken. The timeline has been revealed. The future is now. Your future starts with the decisions you make in the next few moments. Make them count.